Bonjour et bienvenue. Hello and warm welcome to everyone. If you are a French language learner and also if you have an interest in watching films too, then this video is definitely going for you. So in the first part of this video, I discussed these films and the role and the significance of the films in the language learning journey. So films not only entertain us, they improve our vocabulary, they improve our listening skills, and any good film can enrich and enhance our literary and cultural knowledge of that particular region where their language actually belongs to. Here we are talking about France. And any good film can give you an analytical mind to compare and contrast two different pieces of art. It's a beauty of any good film. And if your mind is tend to analyze a particular topic, that means you are able to think with different perspective, having different ideas and views and opinions, and this will definitely impact your writing skills. So in this video, apart with a brief description of some more films, I will discuss these points in between, that how the films help in a language learning process. So let's begin with the 1955 psychological horror and thriller film Les Diaboliques. In English, it is titled as The Devils. It is co-written and directed by Henri Georges Clouzot, based on the 1952 French novel Celle qui n'était plus, She Who Was No More. This film beautifully unfolds its plot, revealing if an innocent and soft-hearted woman is involved in a crime, then what can be its consequences. The story is about a tortured wife who, along with her husband mistress, conceives a plan to murder her husband. And as the climax enters, you will feel that this woman is like treacherously being involved by his husband and his mistress in the whole crime scene. So this film is about a psychological aspect of crime. So here, moving further, I would like to highlight the importance of dialogue, as I discussed in the first part also. The importance of dialogue and each and every scene of the film. If we focus on each and every dialogue and each and every scene of the film, it will help us to understand uh, to, underst- uh, to understand the central theme of the film, and it helps us to improve our listening skills, our vocabulary, and in many ways. So just look at this scene. The film opens with a beautiful scene where we read these lines, and these lines are written by a French poet, novelist, and a short story writer, Barbé d'Orveil. Une peinture est toujours assez morale quand elle est tragique et qu'elle donne l'horreur des choses qu'elle retrace. In English, it can refer to as a painting is always quite moral when it is tragic and gives the horror of the things it recounts. These lines aptly justifies the plot of the film. So if you read such lines regularly, if you read such dialogues regularly, it will have a great impact on your writing style. It will give such habit will give a literary means touch a literary touch to your writing style. And first and foremost, if you are a curious if you are like a deep like curious learner, then you will definitely try to google this like literary personality Barbé d'Orveil. Who is he? So there is a masterpiece of this writer having the same name, Les Diaboliques, and in that short story book there is a number of short stories having the theme of means all the short stories are based on women crime, either as an act of violence or as an act of revenge. So the director like probably has like deliberately chosen these lines of this poet, as there is a connection between the film plot, Le Diabolique, and this poet masterpiece, Le Diabolique. So before the film begins, you got to know about this French, this literary personality, Barbet d'Aurevilly. So if you want to gain something, two things are important. First, you must be a curious learner. Second thing, you must have a basic interest in watching films. Then I'm sure you will gain something after the end of any good film. It's my own personal experience, I'm telling this. Okay, so you got to know about this like literary personality, Barbet d'Aurevilly. So, and about his masterpiece. So this is the beauty of any good film, that it can enrich our literary and cultural knowledge. So as I said, that crimes always lead to tragic circumstances, as this whole film is about uh, the crime drama. So the crimes always lead to tragic circumstances, and it becomes more tragic if such crimes, if innocent and soft-hearted people are involved in such crime scene, as happens with this you can say the protagonist or the heroine of this film. She meets her tragic end. And one thing more about this film, I want to highlight, this film theme or plot inspires many filmmakers, including Alfred Hitchcock's most famous film Psycho, which was released in 1960. This film was also a psychological, like suspense and thriller. So, though the storyline of these two films, Le Diabolique and Psycho, is entirely different, but it's up to the viewers to find out in what way the plot of the Diabolique has inspired this film, Psycho, as the author of the book Psycho, the book on which this film Psycho is based on, he once said that he was deeply inspired by uh, this film Le Diabolique. So since these two films are psychological, like thriller, so you can compare and contrast these two films, and if your mind is able to compare and contrast, then in this way you are like nurturing your mind in an analytical way, and such analysis will give your mind to think with different perspective, with different ideas, with different views. Definitely it will impact your writing. So this is the role of any good film, to help in language learning. So this was about Le Diabolique. It's a nice film. You can watch it if you have an interest in watching like horror suspense. Now the second we can take, it's the soft film, soft and quite tragic, is Amour. In English, it is titled as Love. It's it's a 2012 romantic drama by Austrian filmmaker Michel Haneke. It's about the bonding of an old couple who are retired music teachers. The film beautifully but also like tragically unfolds the different aspect of love, as the beautiful can be bleak sometimes, can be like tragic sometimes. Love is full of trial and, well, like challenges. This film is all about this aspect of love. So it's a story of George and Anne, and the character of George is played by Jean-Louis Trintignant, and the character of Anne is played by Emmanuel Riva. Emmanuel Riva. Both these great actors are no more, but still they live in our hearts with their beautiful performances. So it's the story of these two people depicting the different shade of love. And she suffers a paralytic stroke on the right side of her body, followed by the surgery, leaving her on a wheelchair. George acts her as her physiotherapist, giving her bath and helping her in other day-to-day activities. She and afraid of hospitals and the doctors. She feels life long and burdensome. It's very natural for a patient who is suffering like that. But her health like deteriorates and she gets a severe second paralytical stroke, leaving her whole body paralyzed. She has a problem in speaking as well. As a dutiful and caring husband, George sometimes seems annoyed and irritating, which is quite which is uh, which is quite like natural. And how a person can react if he is forced to witness the tragic situation of his partner who is like slowly towards who's like slowly moving towards her end of life. It's very painful to see your loved one in such like tragic situation, in such like painful situation. The tragic climax opens up when George recounts Anne a story of his childhood to make her calm of her pain. And he quietly picks up a pillow and smothers her. And then he buys fresh flowers and picks up a dress from Anne's wardrobe, which is quite visible in the opening scene of the film as well, where you can see Anne's dead body mm, uh, means adorned with some flowers. So for many, it can be an act of like cruelty. How can a husband murder his wife like that? But in reality, George frees his wife from all the pains and sufferings. As at the consequent, the next scene of the pigeon killing is striking, similar to that of Anne, is symbolic representation of her death. When George writes a letter addressing his wife that for the second time when the pigeon came in, he set it free. That's why my advice is by watching such films, you have to be very focused. Please watch this film with a like philosophical aspect, having a philosophical aspect. If you watch in that way, definitely you will open your horizon with different perspective. Again, your mind will think with different perspectives. Okay, and then again, it will have a great impact on your writing as well. So in the end, he is seen leaving his house, imagining his wife also accompanies him. This scene is symbolic representation of eternal love. For George, Anne is still there, and that is love. So that's my means again my suggestion to watch this film having a philosophical aspect. If you open your horizon while watching a film, it will help you to nurture an analytical mind, impacting your literary style in writing, as this grammar is not sufficient in a language. The dialogues of the film are very slow in pace, so this will help you understanding of the phrases and the words. So just focus on each and every dialogue. This will help you to gain ample number of phrases and vocabulary. And the last thing about this film, I want to say this film won prestigious award of Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival, and including the Academy Award, that means the Oscar Award for Best Foreign Film. So So in this video, like the first part, I discussed some brief description of these films and how the films help in language learning process. If you think that the video has been fruitful for you, if you think that the video is really like helpful for you, so please do share it with French language learners and of course with the viewers who have an interest in watching films. So hope to meet you soon in my next video. Till then, take care. Au revoir.